Hello, and I'm gonna do a little buyer's guide on the '05 to '09 Mustang GTs, or Mustangs in general if you want a V6. But some of these are gonna be more related to GTs as to things to look out for. And the biggest thing to look out for as far as exterior goes, well, there's two things. One of them is they'll commonly bubble the paint up here. It's just something to do with the hood design and the material. This car does not have that. I assume that's because this is not the stock hood. It's got a couple chips on it, but if the car you're looking at has a stock hood and doesn't have it on the outside, I highly recommend looking on the inside. Sorry, this hood's very, very heavy because this car does not really have that much, but you can see it does have some bubbling inside, and that's how you know that eventually that's probably going to seep out to the outside. It's not rust. What it is, it's just heat from the engine and the way that Ford put the paint on, and I guess whoever did this probably did a little better of a job, but not too, still not ideal. But and then as far as engine goes, like, there's no real way to just check this, but make sure that the plugs and coils have been replaced, especially if it's a higher model car. This car had 127,000 on it when I looked at it, and he had just had the plugs and coils replaced, I think the previous, a few months earlier. So that's good, because if you know anything about these cars, you'll know how much of a pain in the ass that is. And then also, the AC condensers on these cars like to go bad. I think mine's okay. I'm not sure how to tell when they're going wrong, but that's something, if you know what you're looking for, to definitely check out. Mine makes a little noise, but it's not anything major. But other than that, obviously, check the condition of the air filter. This one's pretty good. And the obvious leaks and rattles, and a big thing I'm not going to start the car because mine doesn't have this issue, but if you hear like not really a faint knock, but like a knock, and it sounds like it's coming from the top end, not necessarily stay away, but that's your cam phasers. And they're not incredibly difficult to replace from what I've heard, and they're not terribly expensive, but chances are, if the owner's been driving it like that for a while, then you might have some other problems like oil consumption or something like that. I've heard different things. It's not necessarily like the kiss of death for a 3-valve Mustang, but I mean, if I was gonna choose a scenario and whatever, fix it later. If I was gonna choose a scenario in which I have my cam phasers go out, I would want them to go out after I purchase the car. But you know, ideally, that you don't want that to happen. Another common mechanical issue is the fuel pump. They just go bad after a while. Mine was replaced, so that's good. Then, I mean, rust as of now isn't a huge problem. I feel like these cars were built of higher quality than in previous years, because this car is just as old now as my 2-valve was when I got it. So, and you don't see near as many rusty S197s now as you did rusty 2-valves back then, or at new edges. But that's pretty much it. But if you're looking for rust, I would recommend starting here, because I mean, you would think over there, like at the very bottom, is a good place to look to, but generally they'll start going worse here and back here. And as far as interior goes, I mean, obviously interior wear, I've got some, this bottom of my seat is pretty good, but I mean my bolster is taking a beating, and it's got the little split up here, and it's got another little one down there, but no one's ever going to see that, so I don't really care about it. And I mean, you gotta keep in mind that these cars have a lot of hard plastic in them, which, I mean, isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's solid. But commonly you see door panels all scratched up, nicked up. Not the end of the world, but I mean, it depends on how you judge the quality of a car. And then an obvious thing that any S197 owner will tell you about is these leather door panels. They peel off. I've seen cars with 30,000 miles on them peeling off. It happens to pretty much every premium car. And then an interior configuration to avoid, like, I just don't think that, I just think it's ugly, is anything that doesn't have the aluminum or the carbon fiber dash. I think that the black plastic looks like crap. I prefer the carbon over the aluminum, but, you know, I didn't order the car new, so, you know, whatever. Maybe I'll get some new panels at some point in the future. But another thing that you'll see with these cars that isn't necessarily an issue is especially with like the 05, 06 cars, thinking 07, 08, they more or less fixed it. But if you have the 6 gauge cluster, which I do have, it's a premium. I mean, mine are pretty good, but as you can see, my voltage meter is, it kind of has a mind of its own. But not the end of the world. You can get them rebuilt for like $80 if you care. I don't really care. It's just my voltage meter. It's a dummy gauge anyway. But yeah, no, as far as other interior wear to look out for, a lot of them do the button wear. Originally, this is something I didn't want in my car, but I mean, then I looked up these faceplates. They're like $40, $50. Really not the end of the world. I mean, I'll replace it at some point, but I mean, for now, I don't really care. But that is something to look out for because it happens to a lot of them, especially as you get higher mileage, and depends on who's owned it and whatever million reasons why. But as far as interior wear, that's really it. These cars, if they're taken care of with any sort of care, they're pretty solid. Like, on the two valves, you'll see the window switches are all worn out, and like the door panel, little door pocket thing is all pulled off. But, and the center consoles too, I've seen them scratched and marked to hell. Mine has some around the cup holders, but nothing I'm gonna lose sleep over, because let's face it, at the end of the day, it's just the interior. It's not a show car. If it was, I would probably care, but I don't. So yeah. But I mean, really, what to look out for on these cars is pretty simple stuff. Some of the things are specific to these type of cars, but I mean, you know, nothing. And then obviously, like, mine had the bumper that was out of alignment in front. It was sagging down. I figured out that was another genius who tried to repair this car at some point in the past. Didn't know what they were doing, and they bent the bracket. And then some Yahoo, probably the same person, I don't know why they had to do this, but the corner marker light here was broken on this side. And they should put a giant fist-sized gob of glue on it. I don't know, those are things that surprise you. I just got this car out of the shop, the body shop. I had the quarter panel fixed with the front bumper. I hit a coyote. I made a video on that. Never put it out. Don't know if I'm going to, but it just kind of mangled the front bumper a bit. If you want pictures of it, they're on my Instagram. I can link that. And then, but that's really it. There's not too many things to worry about with these cars. I mean, obviously, it was the first generation. They tried like more electrical and whatever. So you're gonna have these little issues like the gauges and you know, whatnot. But for the most part, these cars are pretty solid. I mean, as long as it's been taken care of, it's pretty hard to find a bad one. I mean, you'll get the ones that have been in wrecks. I don't know what happened to this one. Maybe it was sideswept in the parking lot or something. Or maybe the guy hit like a curb or something with the front bumper, and that's why it was so mangled up on that one side before I hit the animal. And they just didn't want to report it to the insurance and had it repaired really cheaply, and you know, things happened. But overall, it's pretty hard to find a bad one. I think mine now, after everything has been taken care of, is one of the good ones. I'm not hearing any alarming knocking from it or no smoke. I think it may have been burning oil because I think that the guy ran synthetic through it. I'm running synthetic blend of a thicker weight, so it shouldn't burn it anymore. I don't think it has. I've driven about 300 miles and it hasn't moved once, had like the little oil level. So I think the problem there was just a little bit of synthetic oil, or maybe the bent dipstick. I had the dipstick was all bent and might not have been reading right. I don't know, but it's fine now. And yeah, that's just a little video on some things to look out for from my experiences when you're looking to buy an S197 Mustang, or well, Mustang GT Premium, because that's where a lot of the interior issues come from. But yeah, these are solid cars. I wouldn't recommend one as a first car because I'd recommend a 2-valve as a first Mustang, or even a Fox body, because you learn so much more. They're so much simpler and easier to work on. And trust, I think as far as like just cruising around, they're way more fun. Like this car's fun. Like it's fun because it's loud and everything. And I think the docileness or whatever, the streetability, is part of the appeal. It's definitely something that I enjoy about it. I know I'm getting old. But yeah, it's definitely a different beast. These cars feel quicker, I think, than the 2-valves do. But I think that's only because like the suspension is a little more wafty. I don't know, but whatever, making excuses for the car. They're good cars. I'd recommend one, not as a first Mustang, but if you have a 2-valve that you daily and you want a nice, comfortable daily, like this car's amazing on the interstate. It's amazing around town. It's a little bumpy, but that's just because, you know, it's a solid axle car. It's never going to be as nice as, like, you know, this Audi right here, but yeah, it's definitely a solid daily driver. It's comfy, good at cruising, be great for road trips. I can't wait to take it on a road trip. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I'll see you in the next one.